Hello, hello. It's Wednesday, and I just got out of the woods. Woods always share so much with me. Welcome to Wednesday. Of course, I'm Tanja Powell with Adventures for Connection. And today we're going to have a little conversation about some of the laws of the universe and possibly your soul mission and why you've come in and why you experience body aches, why you might experience circumstances that you don't enjoy, because it's all happening for the highest good. So think about it this way. In order to know, and this actually came in from a girlfriend quite some time ago who had an awakening and would come and share everything with me. Hi, Shay. Share her experiences with me. And I was her container that she would come and download to, because she wasn't speaking to many people. This is about 12 years ago. So it wasn't the same as it is today, where, Norma and I were on the ferry, and we'll share that story too, that you run into somebody and you can get to that point of having a soul conversation on the ferry, and he's from Switzerland. Interesting. Anyway, she would come to me and download the experiences she'd be having, what was going on. And I profoundly remember her saying to me, I chose love. And when she chose love, in order to know love and have that lesson, and I got paint in my hand still, to know that lesson of love, she had to know the opposite of love. This is part of our soul experience, to have this polarities. And until you stop judging that which you are polarized from, that which you wish you don't have, that which you wish you did not desire per se, right? You want the opposite of it. Until you resolve yourself around that particular issue, it's there to teach you. And it's going to keep showing up until you no longer judge it. Whether that might be a physical ailment, right? Here's what happens, when a person is not even having a bit of an awakening, realizing that they're a soul having a human experience, because you are. Everything is energy and it can't be destroyed, so it can only be transformed. And so therefore your consciousness, your spirit, your soul is your energy that fuels this avatar per se. And so once you start to embody that and realize that, it gives you a whole different perspective on things. Oh, there's nothing to fear around death. It's a transition. Now, it's not to say in this human form that one wouldn't have some fear as it occurs, but if it's done in a loving and kind way, and it's actually should be celebrated, because just like birth, the death is a transformation. It should be celebrated. You're celebrating the life that soul had in this particular time frame. And so it's quite beautiful. So I'm reminded again, that which you resist persists until you learn the lesson at a soul level. Now, there's some other sticky points right now as we're extracting from a matrix that's been very controlling, and we all believe that our entire lives that, whatever was happening to us in our life was our reality. Hey, ladies. Hey, Shay. Hey, Kriba. Hey, Rebecca. Hi, Cindy. Whatever was happening in our reality, like we were creating wealth for ourselves, or we were building a business, but we were in that really masculine doing, because we believe that's what success was. And once you realize that it's no, 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 true, because it'll burn you out. You eventually have, like I did, adrenaline fatigue, exhaustion. You're no longer thriving, now you're surviving. So when you have these things come up as a gift to get you to slow down, to get you to realize you are so much more than you believe you are so much more than this mind, you are so much more than this body. You are an infinite, eternal being. Now, some people may say, "What the fuck is she talking about?" That's okay. Everybody is where they're at, and there's no right or wrong because many souls are just coming in for their first time in a human body, and you're just gonna look around and go, "What do I need to do to operate around here?" And you're gonna mimic what you see, or you're gonna follow the programming you've had because it just doesn't occur to you to think any other way. There's many of us that have come in at this time and have realized that we are so much more. And now we're observing what's going on and we're like, yeah, no, thank you. I'm not playing that game. I'm out. And so, in doing that, as we slowly extract ourselves from what is, what was created, and claim our energy back because that's our commodity. Our energy is our wealth, right? Along with our health. And so we're very conscientious now about where we'll put our energy. And so it loops me back around to as I was going out into the woods, as I always do. All right, show me what else I'm missing around um, this shift. Because this is the I don't know anyone else that's done this. I don't know where they are if they've done it because they're certainly not showing up in my reality per se. But to create a new economy per se, a new energy exchange, a new way of being. Because I know it's there. I can feel it in my bones. It's part of my desire to do this, and it explains why my entire life I never ran a business to anybody else's rules. I just did it the way I wanted to do it. Never did anything in my life except the way I wanted to do it, even if it was to my detriment, because that's how I am. So quite firm in my belief around that I was creating my reality. And the more you realize that, the more you realize every word you say, every thought you have, every action you take is creating your reality. And when you are still chasing, to come to the title today of letting go of expectations, may this or something greater happen and then let it go. Quit chasing it. Because in that chasing it, you're putting it on a loop. I don't have it yet. I don't have it yet. Oh, is it coming? I don't have it yet. And that could be around health, that could be around, finances, it could be around friends, like, why did that friend leave? They didn't leave you because of you, they left because of something going on for them, which you're not responsible for. And as I witness and watch recently this and don't shoot the messenger, there's a whole thing around the med beds right now, and they're real and they're coming and they may come before the RV. You know, I just was shown right away the 23andMe, and we were all concerned about them having our DNA, and what have they been doing with our DNA? Protect your DNA, but you're willing to go climb into a med bed now that it's all safe? Do you know what they're doing in those med beds? Do you really know? You have no idea. We have no idea. Originally, you were supposed to sign an NDA. Oh, now they're taking that away. You don't have to sign the NDA. I'm just gonna have to call BS on it. Sorry, guys. If everything is energy and everything is frequency, why do we need a med bed? We just need to believe that we can receive what we need in this now moment for healing ourselves. Every health challenge is showing you what you need to, every injury, every headache, every toothache. A lot of the times, these things are meant to slow you down. Hey, Sundancer. Hey, Enter the Void. Jason, good to see you. Yeah, every time you have something that slows you down, especially with the body, what were you doing? What were you doing when it happened? How fast were you moving? Why are you moving so fast? And as I go into this, I'm really gonna you hear grays when I hear med beds. I get gray. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Very possibly. We just don't know, but we suddenly just trust all this other stuff to be for our highest good. And I just can't because I know that my energy is my responsibility. And if I realize where your attention goes, energy flows, you're gonna be really conscientious about what I'm seeking. Because why are you seeking? You're forgetting that you need to be. We've been so trained to seek outside of ourselves for solutions and answers. And now we want to create more common unity. We're going into the community phase of this so we can learn from each other. There's no hierarchy. There may be a platform and guidance when being around us, but there's no hierarchy. We're here to support, mirror, reflect, perspective changes. We're just showing other perspectives. I'm just giving you my perspective today. You may like it, you may not like it, and that's okay. I'm just using my throat chakra, the blue light, which has been talked about a lot lately too, and the throat chakra on the earth to really open up and start you maybe to have another perspective, to see things in a new way. And many of you got your CoQ charts done, and then you're all excited to, I want to know more, I want to know no more. You're missing really important observation points when you do that, which brings me to my other, and I'll tie these all together at the end. So we went over to the island to attempt to work on a garage door that had an issue that I said I would come and fix. And they have horses there, which is really beautiful. And we always say hello to the horses. But 3 of the horses, and those horse people on here will know, have Cushings, but 1 is only 7, a little mini horse. And right away, I was like, something's not sitting right about that. So, anyways, we go down and we visit the horses and tell them how handsome and beautiful they are in their new winter coats, looking all fancy. And right away, Norma Jean had a vision of Narnia, where it's part horse and part man, which is what they were, which they when they were messing around with the DNA, that's what they were doing. They were taking humans and putting them into animals, and so it was like, oh, Cash has been around that long that he remembers that and he's been part of that. And how were the horses created? And then Chastia shares a post about a live horse being found in the earth. I don't know if you all saw that, but that was kind of mind blowing, wasn't it? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we have a Telegram group where we have these conversations, and it's quite beautiful to be able to chat about these things and continue. And thank you, Carolyn, for coming in, so I don't need to worry about the chat. I can just focus on the conversation. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And as we have these conversations today, it was mitochondria. Well, did you know there's something in the mitochondria called matrix? And mitochondria looks like a capsule, like a time capsule or a pill capsule. Interesting. So these are the things, and it all started from, I believe it's inspired alignment, because I'm having a hard time keeping up with the real name versus the name here and the name there. It makes for a good challenge, and absolutely, thank you, Norma. Makes for a good challenge keeping me on my toes. So, you know, as we go through this process, we're all sharing information, but you don't get to see it unless you're really observing it. And so I went to the store the other day. Chastity was talking about the evergreens, right? And random stop at the store. I was going to get something specific, and I just go in and I go out. There's a store like literally a minute walk from here, which I am so grateful for because I don't have to get in a car to go to the store. Yes, I get to walk. And it's a great little store. Anyways, I walk in and a girl has like Kelly green sweatpants on, and she's on my left. And I look to the right, and there's a lady, and she's got a Kelly green purse. I'm like, I seldom see this color as it is. And right now, I'm seeing it left and right. That's kind of crazy. and I'm kind of surprised. So I'm like, noted. So if I was too busy in my mind thinking about things, right? If I wasn't being ever so present and aware, I never would have noticed this. And then this leads the next day going over to the island and getting on the ferry, and everything's smooth, easy, very interesting sky, and I did post that in the group as well. I'm like, "Man, we're under a big old cloud. Look at the sun on the island. The island's got all the sun." Well, it didn't have the sun by the time we got there. Anyways, um, within about an hour, it was gone. And so I stopped to diesel up because I'm like, "Oh, I should have done that yesterday. Oh, well, we'll just stop here." And when I stopped, I had to turn around, and I could feel both of us could feel the energy of the guy beside, and I was like, "Hmm, all right, whatever. I'm just filling my car." And when, I got out, he's like, "Hey, what does your logo stand for?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Powell Painting, my company." And he's like, "Oh, do you have a card?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm on the island, not really where I do business, but sure, no problem." And then he was telling me about this management he does and this competition, or not competition, this contract he has to do some work. Not really work I'm super excited about, but I was like, "Whatever, give him the card. Whatever's meant to be will be." And so then I continue to observe, right? I'm like, "That was interesting." We go to said job, we do what we need to do, and we talk with Margarita quite lengthy about the horses and what's going on. And there's just this whole thing around, I do believe that they've been around for so long, the horses, and they've been holding space for so long that as these energy shifts happen, they're kind of excited, some of them, to go. Now, whether that's what this Cushing's is or not, or whether they even really have it, or there's some other marker that's showing up, but to me, it was all about the energy. So I set her up with Michelle, who has actually had a session with them. I used to work with them. They coached my painting business, and part of it was getting these horse sessions. And then Norma and I also had a horse session. It's a very beautiful thing to be able to connect with the horses in that way. And I shared this already. They just kept nuzzling my face, like, "Come on, you, keep going." Yeah, it was quite beautiful. Sinks lead to links. Keep going, everyone. You're doing awesome. Absolutely. Stay observant of your environment to see what shows up for you. Yes. And in the meantime, all right, let me finish the story because, yeah, let's go back to we do the work, we go to get back on the boat. And now that whole shopping area, which I've been going to for years, and it's always been the same, looks completely different, and, like, new business names are in there, and it's, like, half renovating, a little bit closed. I'm like, "Oh, that's really interesting." Just observing. And then I did notice a guy. When we were in there, he was in front of us. We were getting hot drinks, and when he was in front of us, and I was like, "Oh, it's a pretty big backpack, must be backpacking, right?" Not much thought to it. And then as we got on the ferry and we were starving because we hadn't eaten, and we went to go eat, and we were able to get food, one guy gets up from a table. I'm like, "Oh, this table's free, he's leaving." We sit down and the guy's right there beside us. And so I strike up a conversation. I'm like, "All right, too many coincidences." And so we start just chatting and very surface level to begin, because that's generally where you start. And I already knew. I'm like, he knows. He knows he's a soul having a human experience, which is quite beautiful. And he's from Switzerland, and he's a physicist. And then enter the mitochondria again. Like, there's all these things showing up, and nothing's ever random. I can't remember the last time I struck up a conversation on the ferry, especially because the ferry, everyone's kind of doing their thing. They're very busy. They're very focused. And so by allowing this experience to just unfold, and we went through the gamut. We talked about kids. We talked about traveling. We talked about um, his kids are in circus school, which I found really two his 2 girls, and one is living in a van and living that way. And I was like, "That doesn't surprise me." That age group, right? Like, they're not wanting to play the system. So it just showed me that Oh yeah, they're working it out. They're figuring out a way to operate without being in the system per se. And so I find that quite fascinating. And it's just nice to have these conversations. And he's a particles um, physicist. So that was even more interesting. So yeah, so he's quite smart. And we just had a really beautiful conversation and didn't think much of it, but noted it. And this is what I do. Ah, noted. Like I met 3 dogs today. Yep, noted. Noted that I met 3 dogs. Actually, I met 4, but 1 didn't want much to do with me. And the other one was very disappointed that I didn't have treats in my pocket. But that's okay. That's a lab for you. So, just those interactions and the way that people respond, what's happening when I'm in nature, what's the light doing, where are the animals, just being ever so observant so that you can feel subtle shifts, changes, differences, no matter where you are and no matter what's going on around you. And we're asking you at this time to really focus on being still and going inward more because these eyes are projectors and you're projecting out that which you desire based on how you're feeling and what you're manifesting. And so I'm very careful of these expectations on external things happening, like the med beds, like the QFS, like the politics going on right now, because it can be very, very, very draining, actually exhausting. Yeah. Beautiful, Carolyn. Yeah, sky's always the go-to and the birds in the morning. Those are my 2 go-tos all the time. So what are you seeing different? Are you seeing different birds? Because birds all have meaning. Are you seeing different cloud formations? Are you seeing beings in the clouds yet? Are you seeing faces on trees? Are you sensing energy more? Again, we're asking that everyone can yeah, crows are very cleansing, they're carbon. And they're very smart, along with ravens. Eagles remind you to have that higher perspective. Yeah. Yeah, the sun is a different color, absolutely. Enter the Void sees lots of eyes. Yeah. Yeah. It can be a little discerning sometimes, like, "Oh, I really see that face." Like, when Jade and I go driving, we'll look in the clouds and start picking out what we see. And sometimes she's like, "Yeah, you're taking that one too far. That one's a stretch." I'm like, "Okay." But you can start to really see, and it's a way of communication for you. And when you start to just be the observer, your expectations will lessen of external things. You may find a little more peace, a little more joy. It's almost like we need to get down to this base peace, calm level, this foundation in order to build anew. Now, that's not to say we're not mastering some things over here because given my guidance and what I'm being shown, because I'm not going and looking for things, they just show up. They just pop into my field. And I'm like, "Oh, there's something for here for me to know." Yes, okay. And so I will check it out and just observe it. And what is there here for me to learn? I see eyes a lot in my third eye. Yeah, me too. Especially my own. Yeah, it's like somebody's watching you. Yeah, you watching yourself, girl. And a vision of a little white car covered in crows. Interesting. Well, and there's quite the transformation going on. I mean, everyone's talking about the sun flare. I don't even watch that because I always just go by how I feel. Everything outside seems brighter. Beautiful. Taking the veil off your own eyes. The cloudiness, right? Yeah, absolutely. And where was I going with that? Oh, and so in this observation mode and us wishing to master specific things and be able to share what we're coming into, there's there's this ability to start to master specific things because you're slow enough that you can actually go, "Oh, this is important for me. I'm going to take some space for this." Whereas before you would have been too busy. Yeah. Taking that time for yourself to maybe ask your body. Like lately for me, it's been a lot of lower back, and we've been talking about this. We're almost being rebirthed so that we can operate in a new way. And this conversation about circles, I have never had it come up so much. It's just like nonstop. And so if we look at the circles as the feminine and the square as the masculine, and we're all here to balance our feminine and masculine to activate um, and align ourselves to release the Christ oil within us, because that does renew the body. So that was actually what was supposed to happen every single month when your moon is in its sign for the month. So for example, I'm Libra, and it was Monday, Tuesday, and today we're Libra. What do I feel? Me extra, but also extra even in the body of just awareness. And it would be, I look forward to the time when, and I'm not waiting for it at all, but I just know that that's the process we're in. That's why these things are showing up. And just follow your intuition, not your ego. We just want to be able to balance the two, follow the intuition, and take small action towards that which we desire. And sometimes there's bigger action required, but to not be feeling like there's something I got to do, there's something I got to chase. Slow down so that you don't, we're so programmed for that. We're undoing that programming. We're laying a new foundation. And then we want to create with our stars, align ourselves as the plasma amoeba, and be able to uh, not contain, radiate our energy in a controlled fashion. Yeah, within our own, so that we can unbind ourselves from the wheel, right? And that's what we're all doing right now, slowly but surely as we go through this. But we were discussing some other ways today and how we can see that occurring and the opportunities within that to be able to be more of our authentic selves in a much calmer, concise, peaceful, playful, fun way that it'll shift things quickly. You know, the pole shifts within you. So all these solar flares and sun things going on, if you follow that every morning, like I see some people are looking at every single morning, it's the first thing they do. So you're imprinting that on yourself first thing in the morning. Whereas I wake up and go, "Hey body, how's it going? How you feeling today?" And I do some stretching and check in with self. And I always go by how I feel before I go seek anything. I follow my guidance. It might be some journaling, it might be tarot cards. Usually it's burning some resin because that's just my thing for cleansing for the day. Yeah. And so I'd love to know what some of your habits are that you're finding are working really well. Ah, a small albino bird. That is definitely special. Yes. Yeah. DNA changes are happening right now. I agree. We're reactivating our DNA. And I have absolutely no judgment about what has been done in the past. I'm just excited to see what happens moving forward. But hey, I'm remembering what was done in the past, and I'm cautiously looking at what's in my field and going, that doesn't resonate. That doesn't resonate. Why would I want to do that? So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, excellent. The more calm you are, the more gifts can come in. Let me say that again. The calmer you are, the more your gifts will be able to come in. Your soul is always speaking to you. We're generally just so busy with the mind and the body doing things that we can't hear it. And then we're wondering why we don't get what we want. Getting back into yoga. Yeah, absolutely. And I got my little bounce trampoline I jump on and some movements, and I'll occasionally pick up like light weights and do a few things. I really just do whatever I'm called to do for that day for my body. How am I feeling today? And today I just booked, and I was really grateful that there's a Black Friday sale. 3 sessions in a deprivation chamber, and literally it just came in like an arrow. Boop. And I was like, "Oh, I hadn't even thought about that place for years." And when I looked at it, I hadn't been there for years. And then they had a great special on. I'm like, I can remember paying like $75, I think, for one visit. Yeah. And so you go and you lie in salt water and you're closed in a tank. You can have music or not have music. I'll probably put on my own frequency. But what's interesting is last time I was in there, I actually fell asleep. So you can sleep in it because you're totally buoyant. I was like, "Oh, nobody can bug me. Nobody can get me on my phone because I'm separated from my phone too for work stuff." So I'm going to go in there on Sunday and I'll report in how that is. But yeah, I'm quite excited about that. The other thing that came into my field recently was doing a dark retreat. Who's heard about this? Where you go in for 24, 48, 36, 72 hours, as long as you choose, but you go into darkness. Now they bring you food and you have a bed and you have a bathroom, but you're in darkness and you just figure it out. So what happens after I think 36 to 48 hours is you start to release natural DMT. And so you'll start to have that experience. And so that would be really interesting, wouldn't it, to do? Yeah. You know what, Kriba? I was queen of that one whenever I was moving too quickly or irritated. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna have you be so present with this toe. Little toes are the worst, aren't they? They like hurt the most, but it'll keep you really freaking present. And Shay, good to hear you're spending more time in silence. Yeah. Rebecca's noticing crows a lot these days, but always white butterflies everywhere. Beautiful. And isn't that a little yin and yang right there, right? Crows with their loud, dark presence, so to speak, and then white butterflies, so light and silent. Crows are loud. I like that a lot. Yeah. What are you doing for yourself these days? How are you showing up for you? And does anybody have any questions? I'm just doing a little activation. Who'd like to step into a little bit of quiet time? Who'd like me to guide them in a little meditation just so you can feel a little healing and presence? Meditation and music, Jason, beautiful. Yeah. No, I'm being guided right now just to give everyone let's just have a little silence. Feel free to close your eyes. And you don't have to, you can just watch if you want. Might close your eyes. Take some deep breaths in through the nose, maybe a 5 or 6 count, and then pause and out through the nose for 7 or 8. So you're breathing in and then breathing out longer. And do that again. As you breathe in this way, it's a Fibonacci breath. Going up the nose, on the inside of the nostrils on the inhale, down, fill the belly. Keep breathing as I'm doing this. And then out again, it hits the outside of the nostrils. This is how we were meant to breathe. If you see a baby breathe, this is how a baby breathes. Its belly falls and rises. And I'm just going to bring in a little energy healing frequency for those that desire. And just keep breathing in and out of your nose. You can close your eyes or open them. You can sit. You can lie down. whatever you are called to do. And remembering that breath is life, breath is light. Everything operates on this. Without it, we would not be here in this avatar. So at this moment, let's just have some gratitude for what we have, this beautiful breath, this beautiful moment together, this energy healing I'm calling in to give everyone what they need to just feel really balanced and relaxed in this time and take away any aches and pains. And just keep breathing. If you have an ache somewhere in your body and you would like to give it some attention, intention, put your consciousness there, put your attention there, and just breathe with it. Can you imagine a color that it would like? Can you breathe love into that area with that color? And you could say in your head or out loud, even though I don't understand you, I love you. For if you think about it, every ache within the body is there to keep you present. It's trapped emotions from past activities, things that have happened that you've sucked up and trapped there. Now is this beautiful time that we can just start to let that go, realizing with that inner child, if needed, that everything is okay. We've got this now. Even though we struggled in that moment at that time and space, we know better now. And look how good we're doing. Look how far we've come. You may have an image of your inner child sitting on your lap and giving it a hug. And even though that little child never felt good enough, you are in this moment right now. For being enough in this time now means that we know we're enough. We're not relying on somebody external to tell us whether or not we're enough. We just know we're enough as we are. And with that knowing, as we go out in the world, and if everything is a reflection, a mirror for us to learn from, we can drop the judgment and bring in a little curiosity. Oh, what's this trying to show me? And when you have that childlike wonder of curiosity, it helps to dissipate any other energies around it. Now, obviously, you would know if you were unsafe in any moment in time, but if not, just get really curious. And now let's drop in a little further. And we're just going to imagine this beautiful white light coming down and over and around us. You may choose to have a color of light. This would be up to you. What's your favorite ray on the 32 rays? What color resonates with you right now? Bring that down like a big old tube around you, swirling, whirling energy. And as it's going around you and through you, it's cleansing and clearing. You could do this daily yourself. First, when you wake up, also before bed, and have gratitude. Can you feel the energy? It's at the top of your head and it's swirling around. It's going down towards the ears, over the forehead, over the eyebrows and the eyes, down the nose, the cheekbones, the ears, down the back of the head, And it's just gently swirling around. It's removing any stuck energy, just freeing it up and allowing it to flow like it should. Down over your lips, bottoms of the ears, jaw, nape of the neck, around your neck, around your beautiful throat chakra. Have you been seeing blue more lately? It's beautiful blue energy as we all, and as Earth opens her throat chakra, cleansing and clearing for all. Many are reporting throat things going on at this time. I can feel it in my throat right now. And that's okay. Cleansing and clearing it. And then the shoulders. We carry such the weight on our shoulders, especially as we worry about our families or we worry about our loved ones. But the only moment is right now that matters. And when you become the observer and you observe others struggling, you realize they're learning some lessons right now. We can't do lessons for people. They have to do them themselves. They came in to learn too. If we solve everything for everyone, well, then they're not getting the lesson, and guess what's going to happen? Mm. And so being kind and loving and listening, maybe a little mirroring. So what I hear you say is, for then your hearts will connect when someone feels heard. And quite often that's all they're looking for, is to be heard. Down over the chest, the shoulders, the upper back. Feel where your wings are. Let's run down the arms to the elbows, elbows to the wrists, and wrists through the hands and the fingers. Your beautiful healing hands, activating your superpowers. Nice. And let's go back around the chest again to the upper stomach, your solar plexus. Let's just expand that heart too at the same time and warm that one up a little more. Let your heart lead. What would love do? What would unconditional love do in this moment in time? So when we pause and we respond versus react, these are all the tools in our toolbox for this time as we go through this transformation, as we slow down so we may have a new perspective. There we go. Solar plexus, this is your power center. This is yours. And doing qigong, tai chi, these are really good ways to shift your energy and beautifully, as is running your chakras. Many of you do that. Beautiful. And let's go down to our sacral. Mm. Our womb space, whether you're a man or a woman, this is a vulnerable, creative spot for you. You know, you came in and you were a spark of light. You started with light. And you grew, and your heart grew first. And we're remembering now that love is our birthright. Unconditional love. It's how we came in. And we learned all these beautiful lessons, and now we're going back to that. How lucky are we? It's been tough, but fuck, that's worth it. Beautiful. The root chakra, I like to call it ruby. This ruby is just a beautiful stone that has this depth to it that allows you to feel safe and secure and loved. And all the way down your hips, your buttocks, your lower back, and your entire stomach, down the legs to the knees, thighs, your hamstrings, from the knees to the ankles, the heels, top of the foot, under the foot, sides of the foot, to all those little toes, your terminals. Think of a battery, because that's really what we are. And your hands and feet are like terminals, sending and receiving information, plugging your feet onto earth, especially your bare feet. You're plugging into nature's network and so much information, but you're grounding and recharging. Put hands on a tree if it's cold or wet where you are. And there's nothing that replaces this. Uh-uh. Nothing beats nature. Nature always nurtures. We are nature. Everything you eat, drink, breathe, all the beautiful birds and animals, the colors, the air, the water. So much gratitude for nature. And nature is always showing us what's really going on for us inside as a reflection. As the birds singing in the morning remind you you are safe, all is well here. They are the morning frequency. And the sun rays on your face, they just make you feel like a sunflower, and you just want to reach up to the sun and say, "Yeah, I love you." That's beautiful too. Well, let's just take this energy and allow it to run around our feet like a chi pool. It's our energy. And then let's draw it back up with the breath. Allow it come out of the head. Just imagine it flowing back down again and cleansing more of our auric field. Beautiful. This is our space in this time and moment. And because it's at the end of the day for us, wherever you are, you may choose to activate it further. You may choose to do whatever you do for you. And there's a beautiful bubble around all of you now. Many people do have tension spots in the jaw. It's a reminder to let go of what's out of your control. I remember in the phase of biting my tongue so I didn't lash out, and yeah, that can get your jaw somewhat. And we're just sending you so much love. You can wiggle your fingers and with your toes if you choose to come back, or you can choose to stay there. Butterfly forest cross stretch sounds lovely, Cindy. Yeah, everything is energy. Being very wise about, you're smart now, you know this. You choose your reality, you're creating it. I'm just here sharing my story, my experiences, my energy. so that you may see how it feels to feel good most of the time. And when I don't, I know why. There's others can pinpoint most of it. Everything is always a gift, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. Everything is as it should be. And as we master this further, and membership tonight, by the way, members, bring your sun and your moon sign on your chart so we can discuss that more, because that's a really important point. So know your sun sign and your moon sign in the tropical, and we'll go through that. And we'll probably have another discussion around, well, we can have it right now. We have time. So for those who are into astrology and Age of Aquarius, and we're really just dipping into it. I wouldn't call it an age, but I do see Pluto. I do see that coming, and we're being shown some of it now, and it may feel lighter and playful for you depending on what you're focused on. But then there's the sidereal people saying, oh, hell no, we're not even close to that. Now, remembering that they're looking above or from an angle on the side, they're looking only at the stars. They're not looking at the matrix that you came into, where you pay your rent, where you pay your bills, where your electricity is, where your gas is, how you get food. This is as important, but then keeping an eye upon the stars, right? Realizing that's what we've done as we go through the CoQ. We're realigning our star rays. Yes, it's important, but if you're only focused on that, then you're missing the right now. And that took me years to kind of get through for myself, to work that one out, because it is. Oh, we're meant to be confused, aren't we? Because if you're confused and you're unsure, then you're very, very, very easily controllable, aren't you? And so as we go through this, Kriba, have a beautiful shift, love. Say hi to those little souls for me. Hmm. Yeah, awesome. Well, I'm glad I did that. Yeah, so you could relax. Beautiful. And so as we're meant to be confused, let's just let go of this confusion. Because if it doesn't affect me in the here and now, I'm like, I'm not interested. So I'm aware of where the stars are, absolutely. But I'm also aware of where I'm at right now, where I actually do have to pay some bills and put some food on the table and feed a child and feed a cat and do what I can for my community. And that is what I've reflected for myself right now. When I've mastered how to change that, I'll let you know. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, you guys, I'm going to sign off. So for members, we got you in a short time, actually, in 30 minutes, just over. So we're going to see you shortly in regards to having a session and talking about the rays and talking about the sun and the moon, where they're at and how that can affect you, as well as a few other things. And please, yes, hit that like button. We do have a free draw on Sunday. And we also have a free Zoom session to check out membership on Saturday. So everything, you're so welcome, love. Everything is in the website, which will be in below the video. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome, loves. Yeah, I look forward to being able to have these conversations real time, all in a circle, in real life. So what was that again? All right, we have membership, free Zoom. You can just comment Zoom and we'll get you the link if you can't find it. That's 1 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday. On Sunday, we have 4 p.m. and we have our free draw for the month of November for those that have signed up for the newsletter. So if you sign up for the newsletter, you get entered into a draw for a free 1 hour, 1 hour and a half session with me. And so that's up for grabs right now. And then we are mastering some new activities for you all, but that's what's on the roster at the moment. And yeah, we really look forward to it. Yeah, on the main page of the FC site. And we welcome any donations. Remembering that as we do an energy exchange, so whether that, if you can't afford to contribute funds, we would accept reviews, written and testimonial. A little video one would be great, and we'll help create that. so that we can at least utilize that energy exchange going towards something. You can refer people. So there's different ways of supporting us in this way. Yeah. We take gift certificates. Absolutely. And donations if you need a session and you can't afford but you can afford a small donation, that is always accepted. So just reach out. All right, you guys. We love you. Yeah. So grateful